Yep, you right? Yep. No worries. Welcome everyone to the Ordinary Council meeting on the 16th of October 2025. Welcome everyone watching. In accordance with the Weddin Shire Council's Code of Meeting Practice, this meeting will be recorded for the purposes of audio-visual live streaming via Council's website and YouTube channel. Those in attendance are asked to refrain from making any defamatory statements and comply with all relevant Weddin Shire codes, policies and procedures at all times. Weddin Shire Council would like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people who are the traditional custodians of the land. Weddin Shire Council would also like to pay our respects to their elders, both past, present, of the Wiradjuri Nation, and extend that respect to any other Aboriginal Australia who are present or watching. Weddin Shire Council also would like to honour our service personnel who have sacrificed their lives in the defence of freedom, our peace and our prosperity. We acknowledge all the frontline workers and volunteers who each day provide our essential and non-essential services, especially those within our Weddin Shire Council's local government area. We move on to attendances. We've got all the councillors here today, which is really good. So therefore no apologies. I'll ask the Acting General Manager, do we have any leaves of absence or applications?
No.
No leaves of absence. Righto. We'll move on therefore to the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting of the 18th September 2025. We'll have a mover and a seconder for that. Yes, moved by Councillor Macon, seconded by Councillor White. Thank you very much. Any questions about the... No questions on the minutes of the last meeting? No questions. Put that a favour then of all those accepting those minutes as written. Aye. Thank you, councillors. All those against? Thank you. So moved. Next, I'll ask our Acting General Manager to read out the disclosures of interest for this meeting.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So, Councillor Nevin, item 10.4, subject of the report, non-pecuniary, significant no, leaving the room no, would only be leaving the room if it's discussed. Councillor Parlett, item 11.4, NAIDOC committee member, so it's a non-pecuniary interest, significant no, leaving the room yes. And I've also put one in myself in relation to 16.2, which is the mayoral minute, the GM recruitment, so it's non-pecuniary, significant no, leaving the room yes, as I'm the current acting general manager.
Yep, very good. Thank you. Move on to public forums, of which I don't believe we have any. No. I do have a mayoral report and a mayoral minute, which I think will be dealt with in the closed council, as it's regarding the recruitment of the general manager. We can move on, therefore, to motions and questions with notice as well. Nil this month. Next, I'll ask our Acting General Manager to present 10.1, the outstanding actions items on the resolution register. It's only for noting, so I'll just ask the Acting General Manager to present this one.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So for councillors and the public, this report just provides an update on the current outstanding actions on the resolution register as of the 2nd of October. So each one of those where there's been some updates, they're included in the notes below each action. Was there any questions from councillors in relation to any of those?
Through you,
Councillor Macon.
Just a question about the geotechnical testing for the rural waste. Was the 10th of September that we're awaiting? Now it's a month later. Have we heard anything more?
Yeah, through you to me, we have spoken to the consultants that have been engaged to do the overall report. They have been engaging with the geotechnical engineers. There's just a bit of a hold up in terms of the design work, so they actually they only have to go out once to do the soil testing. So we have been last week in contact with the consultant and asked them to obviously, we want to try and get it done as soon as possible. So we've also had consultation with the EPA just to keep them informed as to where we're up to with that. So I'm anticipating that we'll hopefully have some further information by next month's meeting. But yeah, we're certainly on to the consultant to try and get it done as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Councillor Gorman.
Through the mayor.
All right. You asking a question of the directors.
The one on page 18 about meeting the councillors and go to the villages, from memory it reads, or the original motion was for, say, 4 times a year. I don't know that we actually confirmed it was that we were going to do it. I'd like to amend that and that we travel out to the villages twice a year.
Yeah. So it's not really, we haven't actually decided it, hasn't actually come up for decision yet. It was put back to the, we asked when we got another general manager, that we then asked the general manager to provide that report. So we can deal with that then. Thank you, Councillor. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other questions on those resolutions? No? That's good. Thank you very much. Move on then.
So,
It's only for noting.
well, there's recommendation there. So.
Oh, there is a recommendation. The council notes the report. Sorry, I'll just move in a second. Sorry, councillors. Yep, Councillor Montgomery and seconded by Councillor Parlett. Thank you. All those in favour, they note that outstanding action resolutions. Thank you, councillors. All those against, they move. Sorry, I was just thinking it was only for noting. It wouldn't require a recommendation. That's all. Next, we move on to 10.2, the draft council's draft code of meeting practices and policies. 1, council notes information in the report, places the draft model code of meeting practice policy as attached on the report on public exhibition for a period of 28 days for the purpose of inviting submissions from the community. 3, provides members of the public with a period of 42 days at which to provide comments for the draft code of meeting practice, and requests the acting general manager to present a further report to council with all submissions received at the conclusion of the public exhibition period for council's further consideration and adoption of the policy, or in the event no submissions are received during that exhibition period, council formally adopts the policy without any changes as a policy of council. I'll have a mover and a seconder. Yeah, Councillor Montgomery and Councillor Gorman, thank you very much. I'll ask Luke just to do a report. Oh, sorry, our acting general manager to do a report on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the purpose of the policy is just to provide council with a copy of a draft, or a new draft model code of meeting practice for consideration and for placement on public exhibition. So council's current code of meeting practice was adopted by council on the 19th of December 2024. So since then, in August 2025, the Office of Local Government released a new model meeting code. So council has a requirement to have a new model code which is consistent with the model code in place by the 31st of December 2025. If we don't, the new model code takes precedence over ours anyway. So we did have a workshop with councillors earlier this month just to go through the new model code. So it's made up of mandatory provisions and non-mandatory provisions. So we have drafted the new model code to include all the mandatory provisions and also the non-mandatory provisions that we deemed fit for our council. For those in the members of the public and for council's noting is that the mandatory provisions are indicated in black font and the non-mandatory provisions are indicated in red font. We have also included within the draft code some council-specific protocols. So they're noted in green font. So they're local rules or what we would like to see in terms of certain actions. So the timing of meetings, what's to be included in notices of motions and those types of things. So pretty much consistent with what we already do. So council can include other clauses within the model code as long as they're not against what the mandatory provisions are. So we believe that those local protocols are consistent with all that. So the intention will be is that to put this out on public exhibition, as it said in the recommendation, it's got to go out on public exhibition for 28 days. But under the legislation, we also have to provide 42 days for people to actually respond to that. And then we will compile any submissions that we may receive and report that back to council. If there is no submissions, and then it would be adopted as is and as presented to council now. So I suppose probably some notable provisions that changed within the new model code, and there has been I suppose a whole rejigging of the model code. So that's why we haven't done a track change like we normally do with a policy, because there's sort of so many changes and renumbering, so it was difficult to do that. So the prohibition of pre-meeting briefings, I suppose public forum will now have to be before the meeting rather than within the meeting. There's also some restrictions around councillors attending council meetings via audio-visual link. So those types of things. So there are a few changes in there. There's a lot that's still sort of consistent with the old model code. So yeah, other than that, if there's any questions from councillors.
Any questions? No comments? I think I'd make a comment. Just feel a bit sort of that we're actually being held to a higher standard than what some of the state government is. Really, like the idea of live streaming of any briefing sessions. You go, well, they don't on live stream. I'm sure there's plenty of ministers get briefed without without live streaming to the public. I think there's some things in there which are really holding us to a very, very high standard of transparency, which I think is very, very. I'm all for transparency. I'm just saying it's going to be very, very difficult, I think, some of them to achieve, and this is going to also come to a cost to the council. There's going to be a lot of financial burden up to this. We'll have to change a lot of our computer programs and things like that to allow to have us the capacity to do a lot of these changes. So, yeah, I think that's just another thing that's put on top of us, and we've got to have to pay for it, basically. So, yeah. All right, so we've got to move in a second there. I don't feel there's any difference because it says requesting the acting general manager if we have an actual employed general manager at that particular time. I don't suppose it makes really, it just means
There's someone else besides me.
yeah, it would be. But we wouldn't need to change it to be acting general manager or general manager. Would be, I don't think. So it's probably not something.
It's going to have to be done by there.
It's got to be done anyway.
This year
time.
sometimes.
Yeah, can't see any reason. No worries. So if there's no more comments, councillors, I'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour of those recommendations? Thank you. And all those against? Thank you, councillors. So moved. Next, we move on to draft councils and expenses and facilities policy. I'll ask the acting acting general manager to put this one up as well. The recommendation is that council notes the submissions which were received in relation to the draft council expenses and facilities policy as a result of the public consultation process, and 2, formally adopts the draft council's expenses and facilities policy as presented as a policy of council. We have a mover and a second, councillors. Yep, moved by Councillor White, seconded by Councillor Gorman. Thank you very much. I'll ask the director to present this one as well. Thank you.
Councillor Niven?
Oh, sorry, Councillor Niven, yes.
I'll move an amendment to remove item 6.7K.
Councillor, so we've got a mover and a seconder. And Councillor, do you have a seconder for the amendment? Yes. So Councillor Parlett has moved a seconder. As for the amendment, you got that? 6.7K. Yep. Councillor Niven, I'll ask you to speak on your amendment.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
When I, some time back, like when I was at Pimby, I received 30-kilometre travelling. Right? When I moved to Young, I was told that I could have additional travelling, and I declined it. Right? This time, I did claim 55 k's, which is to my distance, a couple of times, but I didn't claim it every time. Right? Now, but more importantly, council had been provided with psychosocial welfare and how to be, kind to everybody and all-inclusive whistles and bells and all that sort of stuff, right? But now, when it came up for review in December last year, nobody came and mentioned anything to me about travelling or discussion or anything, There was just it was led by Councillor Gorman that the travelling be limited to the boundary. I was comfortable with 30 k's, but that needed to be touched up a bit, whatever. But She knew I lived in Young. And when you have a look at that video, I had a look at it, another look at it last night. It's classic schoolyard bullying. That's all it is.
Councillor, I'm sorry, I will stop you there.
Why?
Because you are impugning another councillor, which is again. So please have your discussion, but don't impugn another councillor.
Well, it's all in the video.
Yeah, well,
It's all have a look at the video.
I know, but you know what you're doing. You're impugning another councillor, so you don't need to do that. You can have your discussion without doing it.
Right, okay.
That's simple.
So, well, everybody have a look at it, and others knew. So as far as I'm concerned, it's bullying. It was just bullying for some reason. And when you have a good look at it, the reason for the bullying was my question on notice, and I can read that out, and the answers to it. I put a question on notice. Has the independent investigation agreed with SafeWork as reported at the meeting of the council on the 18th of July 24 been completed?
Councillor, where's the relevance to the actual code? You would call clause 6.7.
Because the travelling allowance is all, it's basically a non-event. It's only an excuse for bullying. And if you go back to the travel, I get paid 23 kilometres, so instead of 30, which I'm quite comfortable with 30 kilometres. So what's the point in bullying somebody? The bullying is all on the video. If somebody wants to have a look at it, it's all there.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you there because honestly, you're taking this. You're saying bullying. You're actually accusing a councillor in the council of breach of the code of conduct. You know that, John. You are.
Yeah.
Councillor, you are.
Well.
You are. So you're in yourself breaching the code by doing that. You know that. I'm sure you're aware of that. I'm quite happy to let you have your argument regarding the clause. The clause states you're saying it's all about you. It's not about you. It's about a particular clause.
Oh, well, I think it is. But anyway, okay, rightio, okay.
Really, it is.
It's for the sake of $12 a trip. I mean, that's basically what it is. $12 a trip.
Okay. Well, yeah, Councillor. Very good. Sorry, Councillor Parlett, you were first. Yeah. You're finished, sorry, Councillor.
Well, yeah, I'm finished. You shut me down.
No, I shut you down from making accusations against other councillors. Councillor Parlett.
I do have concerns, and I did put a submission in. One of those submissions is mine, because I do feel it is only about one councillor, and I don't think, as councillors, we should be focusing on our time and energy on one councillor and one situation like this. I don't think this is healthy. I think we should be being more tolerant and supportive, because I think that I don't want us to be seen as councillors and a council that stops in the future people with limited resources putting their hand up to be a councillor, because we have a demographic of different incomes and states of wellbeing, and we need representation from all groups. So if we have someone, say, living way out at Coragable or way out on the boundary that's 50 k's away or further or outside, and they want to step up and stand, I think that we're limiting them, and I see it as discriminatory. For the sake of the small, really in the big picture, having good representation. And I do think too, it's a shame to be changing the goalposts, so to speak, after we have elected, the community have elected, that was what we had an understanding, that there was travel allowance, and the council concerned was voted in by 20% of the ratepayers, which is a significant vote, and they would have been well aware, because they were all people, mainly, if you looked at the demographic, they were all Quamby, Bimby, places like that, well aware that the councillor lived outside of the boundary. Now, I am also aware that in the past, the same councillor did decline, the general manager, when he did move, offered and said, you are eligible to have payment to, and he said, no, I will just be paid to my address. That is why in my submission I put to the address we're elected, would be my recommendation. Because if we do have a councillor for some reason, we've got young people that might need to change jobs and move to, say, Canberra or somewhere, it would be respectful that they then honour that it was their address, that we are paying them to the address that they were elected at. I just think we need to show that we are working together, not against each other, and certainly not singling one person out.
All right. Yes, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor Parlett. Councillor Macon, you used to speak.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So I did a little bit of research myself around this because I knew this would be a very extensive talking point in this council meeting. The section of the Act and also the LEG guidelines allows council to make provisions around this that are fair and equitable for all. I feel that this clause is fair and equitable for moving into the future. It's not just now, it's actually years to come when we do have that point of a councillor living out of the Weddin Shire Council. And I'm going to use myself as an example. If I have to move for work, if I move to Sydney, I don't think it's fair for the ratepayers to be paying my travel from Sydney, if it's a flight, if it's car, if it's whatever. It's for me, because I chose to be elected. I also looked at some other neighbouring councils and councils around New South Wales. I found 5, but I'm sure there's more, that have the exact wording of our clause, almost identical to their boundary. Because same premise behind that is to future-proof taxpayers' money, so we're not forking out thousands of dollars for travel, regardless of if you live in Craigmore, Cowra, or Sydney. It's taxpayers' money that's paying for this. It's not council, it's taxpayers' money. So I feel that it is the most fairest, the most equitable for all who are elected, because I feel that if you choose to move away when you're elected, you have made that choice. You have been, as Councillor Parlett pointed, you have been elected by the public. If you make the choice, they're not electing you on where you live. They're electing on your duties and what you can provide the community. So if you choose to move away or live out of town, regardless of where that is, I feel that this clause is the most equitable way to ensure that council funds and taxpayers' money is used effectively.
Thank you, Councillor Macon. Councillor Gorman, you used to speak on it?
I'd just like to speak more as a right and reply, because yes, it was my notion of motion back in December. However, in all honesty, I can say at the time, the fact that our fellow councillor lived out of the Shire had nothing to do with it. It was initiated from some information in the media about a particular councillor, and I can't remember where now, someone had moved to out of state, and yet that person did not want to resign their position from council, and they were flying in to attend council meetings, and the council was footing the cost. And that was where it came from originally. And I apologise for any thoughts that I might bully someone, but that was not my intention. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to speak on it? Oh,
Just-
you've done yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just have a question.
Yeah. Oh, well, you can ask a question, but
Yeah, so my question is, for the submission of the petition, is that petition voting for, and you might not know the answer, but the petition voting for no travel, like no reimbursements at all? Because that's what it's worded as. That they actually are voting no, councillors aren't entitled to any travel.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I mean, that's of the wording out of the petition I've directly put into there. So
Yeah.
I suppose that's that's my interpretation of what's in the petition.
Yeah, that was mine, and I just wanted to...
Sort of, and what I've put in the comments to say, based on the wording of the petition, that would be travel for all councils, whether you're within the Shire or outside the Shire.
Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Rolls, do you want to speak?
I'll just add that I've got residential property overseas, which I declared, and I continue to declare I'm a tax resident of that overseas property. I have no intention of claiming travel from there, but it's opening the door. I could fly in once a month to attend the meetings. Last time I flew was just under $11,000, and that was 2.5 years ago, so flights will be no cheaper now, I can guarantee you that. The removal of Clause K, I think, just opens the door to too big of an unknown. It's not about isolating anything or anything like that, it's just, yeah. And like Councillor Nagan said, we weren't elected based on our address or where we were living, we were elected on our ability to perform the role. So, yeah. I think it's, I'm in support of keeping Clause K within the 6.7 K, I should say, within the policy.
Councillor Montgomery, wants to speak?
Well, I have to say that the second submission, to me, was the one that was just and fair for all, because we can't change the goalposts in the middle of a game. We have to all work with the same thing. So therefore, what your electoral address is stays the same. So if you do move in that period, you can't then claim travel. So your thing about travelling overseas is absolutely null and void, because that it's saying you're going to give a different address then as being your residence, but you've already been elected with the address that you were at when you were elected. So why then do we have to change the goalposts in the middle of the thing? The idea in that second submission was that we wait and have it done, but for the next election, like for the next council, have that in place for there, that's fine. But to change them in the middle through, it just doesn't seem to make sense to me.
So, through you, Mr Mayor, I suppose the important thing here to consider is Clause 252 of the Local Government Act. So, every council has to adopt a policy within the first 12 months of the council term. So, in every council term, you're potentially going to have a change of the goalposts. So, you have to adopt it within the first 12 months after you have an election. So, there's always going to be or potential for a change. That's just the way that legislation works. So,
any more questions, councillors? So I'm not sure whether Councillor Montgomery, you're suggesting we already have an amendment. You're not foreshadowing another amendment.
Sorry?
You're not foreshadowing another amendment. We actually have an amendment now, which we haven't voted upon, which we will have to vote upon.
Well, the travel expenses will be paid to councillors from their residential address as registered at the time of the election to council and to their term and for their term of office.
Mm-hmm. So that you're foreshadowing that, okay. So at that point we'll put, I think if everyone's had the discussion on, did you want to write a reply, Councillor Niven, or?
No, I will. Thanks, yes, I will. Yep. I'll make a point. But the travel policy has been altered and fiddled with. It needs a lot more work. I mean, I've got to fill out a logbook and that type of thing, and it's going to be meaningless. I mean, look, I'll just say that the policy has been trashed since I was on the council before.
Oh, okay. So, council, we have an amendment. Sorry, we have an amendment for the motion that council removes clause 6.7, the council's expense. We've had a good discussion. I think this is about the third time we've had this discussion in a few months. So we're all probably aware of what's going on with it. So I'll have to put that. We've moved by Councillor Niven, seconded by Councillor Parlow. I'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour of that the council removes the clause, please raise your hand. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. All those against. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's even. I'm voting against. But I believe that Councillor Montgomery has foreshadowed a motion, which you may wish to put. So you put that motion, Councillor, that you need a seconder for that motion. So seconded by Councillor Parlett. So would you just like to read that out, please, Councillor Montgomery?
To the councillor expenses and facility, oh, no, hang on. Oh, I'll read yours. Travel expenses will be paid to the councillors from the residential address as registered at the time of their election to council and for their term of office.
Okay, yeah. All right. I'm just being aware of my personal thing is does that once again open us up if someone puts their residential address, as Councillor Rolls has said, even though they own stuff within the Shire, that they could be, Cox Harbour or somewhere like that. It was all, or could be overseas. So that's it's. I understand that the one of that. I'm just trying to work out how it would go.
I think we have to have more faith in our councillors' integrity. I'm sorry that I don't think
you can have faith, but it doesn't.
People at the time can see where the address is of their councillors that they're electing. So surely people wouldn't elect someone coming to fly in and.
Oh well.
I
disagree. Sorry, Councillor. Yes, Councillor Rolls.
through you, Mr. Mayor, if I was to move between this term and next term, and I sought re-election, and I performed well this term, I feel like I'll get votes to get back in, and I don't think people would look to consider the address I declared because they see that I have a house within the Shire, and they could just assume that's where I am. How easy is it for the voter to access our election form before the election? How many of the voters actually requested a copy of that, and how many of the voters could have cited our residential addresses on election day? I would hasten to bet that less than 20% would have known our full residential addresses on election day. So I could very well change my address this term, seek to re-elect under the next term, and then I would be forced to be paid for my declared residential address under this amendment. It wouldn't become a choice because that would be the address I would put on my form. So I
You can always
Any Councillor Macon?
It's like there's through you, Mr. Mayor, that I feel like there's a lot of what if the integrity, what if this, and I would love to think every human being is as honest as everyone, and that would do the right thing, and you would hope they would do the right thing. Doesn't stop people doing the wrong thing. Look, there's lots of laws around the world that get broken every single day. Of course, you like to think that people would abide by them and do the right thing, but they don't. This is why it needs to be solid, black and white, from the boundary, that this is what gets paid. No black or white, there's no ambiguity, there's no if or buts or when. It is, this is what it is. If it applies to you, great, claim it. If it doesn't apply to you. Simple as that. It needs to be black and white. It also needs to be black and white for the community so they can actually see, okay, this is what councillors are actually getting paid for. We don't have the budget to give councillors $50,000 a year travel money because they want to find the loophole. It's safe proofing in the future. It's not, you can play the good guy game all day. Doesn't stop people taking advantage.
Councillor Gorman? Sorry, Councillor Montgomery, would you just like to hold yours to a right of reply, or would you like to speak to yours now?
No, Councillor
because you're as a mover. Councillor Gorman?
I just wanted to say, reading the various policies that were put in the business paper, yes, they do say fair and equitable, but it always finishes with and in the best interests of the community. And if there was a selection of, say, 45 people who voted that they think we are probably taking advantage, whether we are or not, I for one don't claim any trouble, but then I live in town. But even when I go to other things out of town, I would prefer not to claim, and I don't. However, obviously, it would be interesting if that petition was more well known throughout the community. Would there still have been 45, or would there be maybe 300 or 400?
Thank you, Councillor Gorman. Councillor Montgomery, would you like to speak? No? Give her a seat. Councillor Montgomery, did you wish to or not, or wish to speak on it?
Through you, Mr Mayor, I can't sense any need for me to say anything. It's quite obvious that there is a definite misrepresentation of the situation coming from all over this room, and nobody wants to hear the truth.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I'll speak on that in some ways. I believe Councillor Maker hit the nail on the head. You talk about the future proofing. I think that's important. You also talk about right and wrong, and I don't believe it's a matter of right and wrong or whether people do the right thing. The right thing is, as councillors, we follow the policy. So it's important what we put in the policy. So to say someone's taking advantage or whatever is completely wrong. You're within your right to follow the policy. So that's why the policy is important. So I don't think someone doesn't need to make a decision of whether they're doing the right thing. The right thing is we follow the policy. So I agree that the wording in the policy has to be black and white so that the next person or the next council through that can follow the policy, and there's no discrepancies with it. If it's written in the policy, that's what you follow. And like I said, there's no question whether you're doing the right thing or not. The right thing is just follow the policy. That's all. So I think it's important. I said to future proof, and I think it's important to. That's the job of this. And sometimes it's hard to make these sort of policies. Sometimes it's difficult, but that's the things we have to do. That's what you're in the room for. That's what you're elected to do. Make hard decisions, and we're elected to do what we believe is in the best rights of the best interest of the community. So that's what I believe. So we have. No one else is going to speak on the amendments to do it. Dr. Councillor.
I just do want to say that part of our role as a councillor is to act in good faith, and we can be held accountable if we're not. So anyone that wants to rot the system, I think you'll find that you will be held accountable.
Yeah, well, of course, that's what I mean. It's not rorting the system if you're following the policy. That's all. Right. So we've had discussions against it, so for it. So anyone wishes any more comments on that one? No. So I'll put that to the vote then. All those in favour? Sorry? Oh, so don't have the exact wording? Councillor.
Yeah, that's
Travel allowance. Yeah, council pay travel allowance
For the residential
on the
address.
residential address that was declared at the time of the election.
And that was to take place.
Sorry? I can't.
Is that correct? She said.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
And for the term of the office.
And for the term of the office. That's the one.
It's important to have that in,
Oh, yeah.
otherwise they can change it. You can change the rates, but it's still okay.
So that's not. I just asked the acting general manager. I don't think that's enough of a change that will require pre-submission again. Wouldn't have to go back out to community consultation. I don't think so. Right. Oh, very good. We've had a good discussion on this as well. I'll put this one to the favour. All those in favour of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those against? 1, 2, 3. The motion is passed. Thank you very much, councillors. Move on. So that means that motion. So now we actually need to adopt the. Sorry. What's your councillor? Yeah. Well, the motion was to remove that from that clause, which failed.
To replace,
But to replace it, I think,
replace 6.7k with that wording.
with that wording, that was the motion. I'll double check the councillors. I think to the mover and the second. That was the intention, wasn't it, to replace 6.7 with that one? Just double check. Yes.
6.7k.
6.7k. Sorry. And then we'll have to actually put the whole policy for vote. Sorry. Oh no, that's right, we're in a hurry. So we That's it. So that was an amendment. So now we actually have the initial motion, which was moved and seconded. It was by, who was moved and seconded by?
The initial one was.
No, that was the amendment.
Oh, right.
White and Gorman were the initial movers. So that's the amendment to the motion. So now, if anyone wishes to speak on the policy as it stands, we've spoken on the amendment. We've dealt with the amendment. Now we can go back to the policy. Any comments or questions, councillors, on the policy? No? No questions? No? Okay. Then I'll put that to recommendation that council notes the submission, formally adopts the policy and replaces replaces 6.7k. All those in favour, please raise your hands.
Aye.
Thank you. All those against? Thank you. 3. So the motion is moved.
Say thank you to staff and our acting general manager for the workshop that we did do on that, because that was very thorough. So thank you.
No worries.
But I'll have my name, know if you get some.
Yes, no worries. Good. I'll just wait for the executive assistant to catch up. All good? Yep. Okay, we move on to 10.6. 10.6 is, sorry?
10.4.
10.4, everyone jumped ahead. My apologies. I want to get through it quick, obviously. So 10.4 is the Model Code of Conduct Complaint Statistics. Recommend the council notes the annual Code of Conduct statistics for the reporting period from the 1st of September 2024 to the 31st of August 2025. A mover and a seconder, please, councillors. By Councillor Hanson Montgomery and seconded by Councillor Neal. Thank you very much. As the Acting Director to inform us of this one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is just a standard report that comes through each year for those councillors that aren't aware. So council is required to report on the code of conduct complaints that it's received and dealt with, and also the cost associated with assessing those or dealing with those complaints. So it's really just for council to note the statistics, which will then be sent off to the Office of Local Government, which they have to be done by the end, I think it's the 31st of December this year. So that's basically it. Yeah, that's for council noting.
Just a statutory requirement, yeah. Questions, councillors? No questions? Very good. Put that one to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendations, please raise your hand. Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Next, we move on to 10.5. This is the council notes the planned closures of the council facilities during the Christmas and New Year's period from 2025-2026 period. Once again, so that recommendation, I'll move in a second, please, councillors. Moved by Councillor Macon, second by Councillor Gorman. Thank you very much. Yes, I'll ask the Acting GM to speak on this as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is just for councillors' information, also the public's information as to what the proposed shutdown periods for our various facilities are over that Christmas New Year period. So the intention is that the administration building will be sort of closed from 12:30 Wednesday the 24th of December, so Christmas Eve, all the way through to the 5th of January, and then all the business as usual from there. The Visitor Information Centre, it will be closed on certain days, Christmas Day, and then sort of there'll be some varying hours during that Christmas New Year period. Aquatic Centre, it's only the Christmas Day that it's in Grenfell that it's closed, and then it'll be open. Quandiala Pool, it's only just Christmas Day and then the normal operating hours. Same with the Grenfell Waste Facility, it's just Christmas Day that it's closed, and then it's the normal Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday, Sunday. Depot, we'll have some limited skeleton staff over that period for emergency situations, but yeah, there'll be limited staff. And then they will be back to normal operations mostly from the 5th of January. So in the policy, it was probably noted that at the time that we put the report together, that we hadn't received advice back from Orange City Council relating to the library. We have since got that, so the library will be closed from midday on Christmas Eve, so Wednesday the 24th, and it will reopen at 10 a.m. on Friday the 2nd of January. So it's just for council and the community to note that they're the planned shutdown periods over that Christmas New Year period.
Where do we normally advertise this?
Yeah, so we'll put that, we'll advertise that on, obviously on our Facebook and social media, and also include, I think each year we include a comprehensive sort of table in the Grenfell Record, which has green when we're open and red when we're going to be closed, so it's trying to be as easy to read for everyone, so they'll know when we're open and not. There'll also be, obviously, around Christmas and New Year, there's always a bit of a challenge with garbage services, so we'll also include some information leading up closer to that around when garbage pickups will be undertaken. So obviously trying to allow for some of those public holidays, so there will be some slight disruptions and probably some double runs that the staff will have to do, so to try and get all through it. But yeah, people's rubbish will get picked up, but might just be on a different day over that period.
Very good, thank you. Any questions, councillors? No, all very straightforward, pretty similar to every other year, I think. So put that one to the vote. Then all those in favour of the recommendations, councillors? Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Move on to 10.6. I think this is pretty straightforward as well. The Bogalong Dam Precinct Committee community representatives. There's a recommendation that council resolve to amend the Bogalong Dam Precinct Committee charter to update the community representatives from 3 to 5 community members, and resolve to appoint 5 community representatives as they outlined in the report. Do I have a move and a seconder? Yep, moved by Councillor Neal. Thank you very much. Councillor Parlett seconded. Thank you. I said directed to speak on this, but I think it's pretty straightforward. It's a good.
Yep. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. So yeah, so council, we had previously a Bogalong Dam Precinct Committee, but they haven't met since the local government election. So council has elected councillors to that committee, but we, because of obviously the local government elections, we hadn't had a re-election of the community members. So we have now got a report which has been developed by or completed by New South Wales Public Works. So it's important that that goes back through that committee, so that that can then come back through to council for consideration. So the aim was to reform that committee, so we've put expressions of interest out for nominations. Originally there was only sort of 3 positions, but we were lucky enough to get 5 community members put their hand up. So it was considered that the best option would be to actually take advantage of that and get 5 committee members on there. So we've got some returning members, but also some new members. So as per the recommendation is to change the charter to include increase the community representatives from 3 to 5, and then that council resolved to reform that committee with those 5 committee members or community members, and then from there, if council resolves that, we will hopefully shortly be able to call a committee meeting so that we can report that report from Public Works as soon as possible, so we can consider that and bring that back through to council.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Comments, councillors? No? No. I'd like to thank the people for putting their hands up to be on the committee, actually. It's good. Five people interested in any council committee is a good thing. We'll put that all then to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation, councillors?
Aye.
Thank you. All those against? So moved. Thank you, councillors. Yeah. We move on to the Australia Day awards and activities. This is 11.1. This is a little bit more involved. The council notes information in report 2 that the award winners be selected by the nomination assessment panel comprising of the mayor, deputy mayor, and acting general manager. 3, the budget for the 2026 at pre-Australia Day and Australia Day events is the same as the 2025, being $6,500, broken down into A, pre-Australia Day activities, $4,000, noting that these activities will be funded by the approved grant application under the 2026 Community Events Program. B, that council donations of $250 to each hall or progress committee as a contribution towards Australia Day celebrations in the villages of Greenthorpe, Condiala, Crackable and Bimby. C, $1,500 for the Grenfell Australia Day activities, being the council's financial commitment required on the Australia Day Committee's Community Events Grant Program application. And 4, that an additional $250 for each village of Greenthorpe, Condiala, Crackable and Bimby be funded under the 2026 Community Events Program grants. We have a move and a second to councillors. Yep, Councillor Montgomery and Councillor Rolls, thank you very much. Yes, who was going to... I'll ask the actual Director of Corporate Services to speak on this one, if that's all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So this paper is to present to Council the annual budget for the Australia Day 2026 events and to give you a brief on what's happening over the events. So we have nominations for the awards that are awarded on Australia Day. Those nominations forms have been issued and are available on council website and other social media. There is a online PDF fill-in nomination form, and if anybody in the community wants some help completing that, they can either come into council chambers or down to the Visitor Information Centre, and our staff will be more than happy to help you complete those forms. Same as previous years, there will be a number of different awards that was mentioned will be reviewed by the assessment panel and announced on Australia Day. We have a $6,500 budget for the 2026 event. We have received the Australia Day grant, the events program grant for 2026, which is wonderful. The proposed breakdown of that budget is $4,000 on pre-Australia Day activities, $1,500 for Grenfell Australia Day activities, and this is a requirement of the grant that we commit council funds of at least the same as we committed the prior year, and a $1,000 donation from council funds to each of the villages of $250. Given the grant that was received, in addition to that, there will be another $250 paid to each of the villages from the grant. So each village will receive a total of $500 from the grant funding and from the council. Nominations will close later in this year and will be reviewed in December by the assessment panel is the expectation.
Thank you very much. Questions, councillors? No? Questions or comments? I think it's a good opportunity for anyone in the community, if they know someone that they wish to nominate, get in there and nominate them. We've got a community that does a lot of volunteering, does a lot of great work, and this is a really good chance to have them recognised. The Australia Day Awards is something we should be proud of the work they do in the communities as well. So please, if you know anybody, get out there and nominate them and get them in so that they can have their spot in the sun. I say so. That's all. So. So if there's no other questions, councillors, I'll put that one to the vote then. All those in favour of those recommendations? Thank you, councillors. All those against? So moved. I once again ask the Director of Corporate Services to speak on the bank balances, but so this is only the statement. So we have a move and a second for the council notes information contained in the statement of bank balances and the bank facilities report. Councillor Montgomery and seconded by Councillor Maitland. Thank you very much. I'll ask the Director to speak on this one.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So as at the 30th of September, Council has a bank balance of $13.1 million. Of that, we have $9.5 million remaining on term deposit investment, which has returned $91,000 interest of what's matured up until the 30th of September. We are still continuing to get a 4 in front of those term deposits, which is amazing, and we're trying to utilise that as much as we can with the uncertainty of what might happen with interest rates moving forward. Of that $13 million, $6.2 million is restricted cash, and we have another $2 million of liabilities. So after the externally restricted cash, we have a balance of $4.88 million in cash. We also have internal allocations that have been voted as part of the FY25 draft financial statements and ongoing cash movements to ensure that we have funds set aside for future requirements such as plant expenditure investments and some deposit money that we have, such as cemetery prepaid fees. So after that, we have 3.492 cash in bank that's not externally or internally restricted, which is a healthy balance, but does include over 60% of our financial assistance grant that's been received that needs to last for the full financial year. Thank you.
It's definitely important to remember that, isn't it? That
yes.
It's great to have it, but it's there for the next years. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it's nice to have it in advance, and it does give us the opportunity to, as you said, to invest it, and it gives us a bit of a return. So we take every little bit we can get. Questions of the bank balance and statements, councillors? Questions, comments? No. Once again, thank you very much to the Director for all your hard work on that one, and we hope that the interest rates stay up and we can keep getting a reasonable return, and we can put that back in the bank ourselves. So
We do.
thank you very much. So I'll put that one in the recommendation. All those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. So moved.
Bless you.
Councillor Gorman. Next one is 11.3, the rates and charges collection and report as of October 2025. The council notes the information contained in the report providing an update on the rates and charges that have been collected during the month of September 2025. We'll move in a second. Councillor Gorman, thank you, and Councillor Montgomery, thank you very much. Once again, the Director can speak on this one. Same thing, pretty straightforward.
Yep. Thank you, Mr Mayor. So as at the 30th of September, Council has collected $2.2 million of rates, which is a great outcome. Our amount levied for 2026, as previously mentioned, is 4.9, with 5.5 totally outstanding. With those collections and prepaid rates in advance, we have $3.4 million currently rates outstanding. And to note that that includes instalments that will be paid over the next 3 quarters that aren't falling due as yet. And that is why we have a arrears rate of 10.48% at the moment, which is slightly above the OLG benchmark. I would like to also note that $2.2 million is 40% of total rates levied collected, so I think that's a good outcome.
Good thing. Yeah. Don't disagree.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's some of the prepaid rates you wouldn't be able to pay more than the rates for that particular year, would you? Nobody would ever prepay.
They do roll over sometimes.
Okay, right.
So people will, and you might recall last financial year our prepaid amount was quite significant, and as we rate then for this financial year, that gets allocated off the prepaid.
So changing rates would mean then you'd have to go back and make a correction on actually anyone that's prepaid. So
yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully as the year goes on, that number goes up again.
Yeah, it keeps going up. Any questions, comments, councillors? No, it's very straightforward. I'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Flying through it. Oh yeah, we'll move on to 11.4, community support application for the NAIDOC. Councillor Parlett has made a declaration of interest in leaving the room. Left the room. So we have...
Oh, you can get
Yeah.
it right.
Oh, Councillor. Recommendation now is that we note the information contained in this report and we approve a $260 donation to the NAIDOC committee for NAIDOC Day that was previously gone. We have a move and a seconder. Thank you very much. Yes, Councillor Neal and Councillor Macon, thank you very much. I asked the director to speak on this, but I think it's pretty straightforward. It's just a community application. Actually, I don't, did you want to speak on it, or it's pretty?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. I think it's just, yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. We just, there was this community support application policy put forward, and this is compliance. So, all those in favour of those recommendations, councillors? Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Councillor Macon? Oh,
Yes.
oh, you're against?
Yes.
Oh, right. Sorry, we have one against. Okay, it still passed.
Yes.
Even if you put two hands up, it will still pass. Sorry?
I did actually want to ask some questions.
Okay, sorry, councillor. Sorry, I will take a step back. It has been moved, but
Yes.
and passed. But if you'd like to ask a question, I'm sure
Yes.
I'll let it go.
For you, Mr. Mayor, the application had no information on it. Okay. I would like to know more about what the 260 represents, and if this is going to be a reoccurrence again. I understand the NAIDOC committee isn't a non-for-profit or such. I don't believe they have any status in that area. So, just wondering more around that, and if there's any assistance that we could provide to keep this event going and not see it suffer because of such surprise expenditures at looking at creating 355 to help them. Because to my belief, I believe that 260 was for public liability. My understanding, they were using my public liability, which I ceased over a year ago.
I know whether the director can probably speak on that. She might be able to answer the question regarding the $260, but as far as any other questions about where,
Yes.
it's not something that probably the director should really respond to. But if you're happy to speak about the 260, just what they've applied for.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, this was a late addition of additional costs that were incurred by the NAIDOC committee. They had to move the event from Taylor Park to Railway due to the works being done on Taylor Park. So council was working very closely with the NAIDOC committee to ensure that that event could go ahead. It was an annual event. It's something that we worked very closely with the committee, as I said, to ensure that it could proceed. And one of the last minute requirements was an additional expenditure to ensure that they were compliant in proceeding with this event at the railway. And they were able to cover that cost initially, but has been a request that we be able to recover that to support that, because it was a last minute event. If it is a requirement for them moving forward, there has not been an application for it to be considered as an ongoing annual cost. There's a one-off application because of the batches are rounding this year. If they do make a submission that they want to increase their contribution or the donation from council on an annual basis, then that's something that will come to council and be considered by council.
Would I be right in saying that the expectation would be, if it was back in Taylor Park, that wouldn't have been required, that extra money, or not?
No.
Okay.
No. So there's a change in circumstances.
Change in circumstances. Okay, thank you. Yes, that's all right. I wasn't sure. Yeah. Yeah. So as far as councillor, your question regarding 355s and stuff like that, I think that's probably something we can't deal with without some response from the staff. So feel free to put a notice of motion in for next in the future regarding that, and we can do a bit more research on that if that's an option. Plus, you would want to get a response from the actual committee themselves as well. So it's probably a bit preemptive for councillors to.
Just to help them out to feed speak.
Yeah.
That's all my question was.
Yeah.
Really.
No, it was a great event. We all said it was a great event, and I didn't mean to push it through, council. I just thought I thought it was a straightforward, straight 260. I thought we'd actually had the discussion saying it was just to fix up that. So that's all. All right. Thank you very much. Move on. We'll move on then. So next one is 11.5, the draft cybersecurity policy. One that. Oh, sorry. Yes, councillor. No, councillor. Sorry, where's councillor?
Sorry,
Okay. Yeah, that's all right. I was just hoping that.
No. Need a button.
Yeah.
You don't have the budget.
Well, once again, with the model code changing, everything's live streamed. I don't see the point. You should be able to sit in the room and without just not speak would make common sense.
Yeah, true.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you, councillor. Sorry, there was a little bit of discussion, but yes, it was approved. Sorry, we're moving on to 11.5, which is the cyber security policy. There's a recommendation here that council approves the draft, not the daft, that's a bit. I hope that's not a faux pas. Approves the draft cyber security policy for being placed on public exhibition for a period of 28 days to invite submissions from the staff and the public in accordance with provisions of the Section 405 of the Local Government Act. And 2, request that the General Manager presents a further report to Council with all submissions received at the conclusion of the public exhibition period for Council's further consideration and adoption of the policy, or in the event that no submissions are received during the exhibition period, the Council then formally adopts a policy without any changes, as per our policy. We have a move and a second, councillors. Yep, Councillor Gorman and Councillor White, thank you very much. I'll ask the Director of Corporate Services once again to present this report for us on the cybersecurity policy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is an annual review of the cybersecurity policy to ensure that council is remaining a minimum of an annual review to ensure that council is remaining adaptive to the changing landscape of cybersecurity that we all know in today's world. So the last one was adopted by council in November 2024. Council has reviewed this policy and made some changes, including adding amendments to how data is destroyed to ensure that it aligns with State Records Act. That wasn't part of the policy previously. We made some small grammatical changes. Coverage of how council provided mobile is used, so how we communicate on mobile devices is covers, as well as how we communicate on electronic devices in council. Updating on reporting phishing emails, they're growing in sophistication and frequency, so there's a constant focus on that within council with the IT department on how we manage that internally. Updates on how we share sensitive information, and the focus of that is keeping sensitive information off emails, because that's often a vulnerability in emails, although council does do a lot of work on ensuring that emails don't have vulnerability, but there's information coming in from other email addresses that are outside of our internal environment, and ensuring that the logs are centralised so that we have monitoring of how staff are using the facilities and the electronic data. This is an ongoing policy, as I said. We will continue to review this and update it more regularly than annually as the change in the environment and landscape requires, and also looking at conversations we're having with the joint organisation CISO, who's been recently appointed and has been very involved in assisting council to focus on cybersecurity. Thank you.
Questions, councillors? Director, Councillor Maker.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Like, reading the policy, that I did notice the 2 aspects that I think should be vitally included is the installation of the CCTV and the footage and that from Main Street. Also the use of AI within council and how is that utilised, if it is or if it isn't. to have that included, because obviously the modern day, like I use AI myself, and I know obviously the dangers within that. But obviously on a grand scope of a wide organisation, having that a bit more concrete within there, so we are protected that way as well. I don't know if I need to make a public submission or what can be just included as a council note.
Look, I'd say through you, Mr. Mayor, even just an email from councillors, if you just send that through to council, it probably makes it easier, and then we can include that to bring it back to council.
The AI was something which was brought up at the local government conference, and a lot of discussion on that at the conference about the use of it within the organisation. It's going to be a great thing. It's going to help in so many ways. I think there's lots of areas that are going to help council, but also protecting council from those things as well. It's important. Thank you. Very good. Thank you, Councillor Macon. Any other questions regarding it? No. No. We'll put that one. All those, you've got that. Yes. Very good. Put that one to the vote. All those in favour of those recommendations, councillors. We put the policy up. Thank you. All those against. Thank you, councillors. Thank you very much to the Director for that report as well.
Thank you.
Next we can move on to 12.1, which is an infrastructure report. I'll ask the Acting Director of Infrastructure, Mr. Pripik, to report on this one, but the recommendation is that Council receives and note the information in an infrastructure works completion report in 2025 and the plan works for October 2025. I'll move in a second, please, councillors. Councillor Gorman and Rolls, thank you very much. I'll ask the Director to provide this report to us.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Well, we'll start off with my favourite natural disaster work.
You're going to miss it, aren't you?
Package 2. I might stay. Package 2. The crew has completed 26 roads. There's 11 remaining, and they're going to our two grader crews will knock that over by the end of the financial year. Package 3's 7 roads complete. They're being equited at the moment. Package 4 is being equited at the moment with 11 roads complete. Package 5 is being awarded tonight. That's gone to tender, and our engineers have done a great job there setting that up. I'll speak about that later. Package 6 is being acquitted, another 11 roads completed. And package 7, our team will try to get that to tender this side of Christmas. If not, it will be over the hump next side of Christmas in the new year.
Can I ask a question on package 7?
Certainly.
Just quickly, just more of an engineering one. How does it plan to do the drain cleaning? Is that how are they?
Well, at the moment,
Something you're working on, or you?
Well, I mean, council does own a attachment to our backhoe that's a sort of horizontal borer, for want of a better description, that we could get out of mothballs and get that happening again, in conjunction with potentially hiring a small excavator for our crews to get in there and clean around,
Tidy up.
any bigger areas. Although a lot of those, besides the cleaning part, a lot of the grant money will be spent on replacing some of the known damaged culverts that have not been looked after for the past decade or so, and they're in the road and people just drive over them and patch them and patch them and patch them, and at some point in time those patches, the whole pipeline has to get removed and replaced.
Yeah, that's it. I just wondered how we're going to go about it. So thank you very much.
Okay, state roads, I'll talk about that at the end of the report. The RNCC work, major works, Pullabooka Road drainage, I mean, it's in the planning. Luke and I are waiting for EPA approval to to get that happening so we can utilise the spoil at Carragable Tip efficiently and not have to cart it miles around. Nowlands Road is 99% complete and wait for the opening day coming up. That should have been out of Ramadan Culvert's complete. Carragable Shared Path Stage 1 is complete with the council work. Stage 2 is gone very speedily with a local contractor. It's 98% complete and it should be finished early in the next fortnight. I'll give him an extra week grace. So that would be great to have that complete shared pathway open for the school kids. And the only thing there, ARTC, which is the rail organisation, they are going to finish the level crossing over that pathway with some warning lights for the pedestrians, and that is expected to happen in March 26, and then it'll be 100% complete. Bogalong Dam, we've got a small grant there that the engineers are racing to complete a little bit of work there by the end of this year, just to get that grant finalised. 3rd Street, Quandiella, well, the curb on the other school side of the road is, we're just lining up the curb contractor, likely to be the same local fellow who did an excellent job first time round, but busy, and we're trying to get him as quick as we can. Now, our road maintenance, 2 graded teams have done a stellar job and continuing to do so. With that, maintenance works and gravel reshooting, so that the roads will get a new top up of good material over the top for the ones that we are concentrating on this financial year. I do realise I speak to a lot of ratepayers that come in and see me over the counter. I do realise their roads probably not in the greatest condition, but as we've said before, council's invested in a program where we've evaluated all our roads. Now they're all in a nice road. These are the worst roads, and they're the ones obviously that council and the engineers are concentrating on. And eventually, the people that do come to see me, their road will get the attention it deserves. And naturally, if I was living in a street and the road wasn't the greatest, I'd think my road was the worst in the Shire. But believe you me, some of them are actually pretty good compared to others. So we are concentrating on that. One road I'll throw out there, Wilson's Lane in Greenthorpe, that's come on the radar, and naturally not every road gets done, but some that need rightful elevating at the top of the list do get it. And through the acting general manager and their infrastructure team, we do our best to put them in the correct order and protect the community by fixing that road that needs it. Parks and gardens, well, you've probably noticed the grass is growing and the team is running around and keeping it nice and neat all around the place. And they are currently, if the grass does grow up a little bit, for this week they've worked in the heat and everything, and next week as well they are putting in their own irrigation for Taylor Park to get that open next month, and I think that will be a great breakthrough with the work they're doing. villages, yeah, we are mowing and doing work in the villages with the Parks and Gardens team. Plan report. Well, as sad as it is, the list is never a one-page list. And this month, obviously I was away last month, this month it seems to have really got a hammering for a couple of pages, but it's understandable considering the age of some of our plant, and again, the acting general manager, our asset engineer and the workshop are doing their best to get things repaired and insert and working, and we're all working hard to get new bits of machinery into the fleet. Our biosecurity team has been doing property inspections this month, and as well as their spraying works, and they are doing a great job there. And finally, Main Street update. The marking of the disabled parking on Main Street and the taxi stand. Our crew, of which we haven't got many, the two that we've got, are trying to. I mean, we need 3 days of good weather to start this stuff, and they haven't, believe it or not, had a big chance of getting that 3 days. And then when we did have good weather, they were funerals and other things that they get locked into, and it just seems like an endless cycle. But with the acting general manager and myself, we are looking at just getting a contractor in conjunction with other work that the engineers are doing on the roads, marking our roads, to see if we can get some efficiency and just get that knocked over with a contractor, just to do some minor line marking. It's not major dollars involved, but it'll just get it off this page and make me real happy. And finally, CCTV on the Main Street. Our IT manager is working with a contractor. I could be wrong here, in Young, who's improving the system all the time. So we're getting better pictures and everything associated with that.
That's it.
That's it.
Good. Thank you very much. Any questions of the directors? Councillor Macon?
Just one question through you, Mr. Mayor. That for the plan report, it just says August. There's no September. If that's just a...
All right, that's a typo by me.
That's what I
Sorry about that.
No, that's not. I just was like, August wasn't real busy.
Yeah.
No,
It's all good.
That should be September.
Typos.
No one picked that up.
We'll let you get away with the typo.
No.
Any questions? Anything else, councillors?
Yeah.
Councillor Neil? Yes?
What work has been done out at Beaumont Dam? You just mentioned there's a bit of work being done out there.
No, as the councillor, we are planning to do a little bit of fencing with this tiny bit of grant money we've got, and to replace the culvert that was washed out, that's in line with the valve of the main dam.
Below the dam wall.
Below the dam wall, and we are going to put in a much more sturdy box culvert structure there to get the people across that area.
Thank you.
That is planned to be finished. Well, it's got to be finished by December.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. No more questions. Thanks very much. Put that one, the recommendations that we note the report to the room. All those in favour, councillor? Thank you. All those against? Thank you very much. Thank you, Acting Director, for the report. Next one, we move on to 12.2. This is discussions of the permanent relocation of the bus stop and the construction of a bus shelter. So we have a recommendation here that Council receives information in the report regarding the permanent relocation of the TransLink bus stop at to the Grenfell Historic Railway Station, places on public exhibition a proposed permanent location of the New South Wales TrainLink bus stop at the Grenfell Historic Railway Station for a period of 28 days. Requested that the Acting General Manager present a further report to Council with all the submissions received at the conclusion of the exhibition period, and for Council's further consideration and adoption of the location, or in the event that no submissions are received during the exhibition period, Council will then formally adopt the location without any changes, subject to formal approval by UGL and Transport New South Wales, and TF New South Wales Transport, yes. And 4, use grant funding from the Country Passenger Transport Infrastructure Grant Scheme to 2024-25, relocated to the Weddin Shire Council, reallocated to the Weddin Shire Council in September 2025 to erect a bus shelter at the Grenfell Historic Railway Station. That's right. All right, so we have a move and a second of that one, councillors. Yes, Councillor Rolls and Councillor Montgomery, thank you very much. Once again, I'll ask the Acting Director of Infrastructure to speak about this one, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Well, it's slightly before the time, but I believe before the Main Street works were started, the bus stop was agreed to be in Forbes Street, where Council has now built a lovely mural, as per the document in front of you. And subsequently to that, while the Main Street was under construction, the bus stop was temporarily moved down to the historic railway precinct, and according to what I've been told, Transport and the bus companies preferred that location, and I gather councillors would probably agree that, or at least my engineers and myself agree that putting a bus stop where it was originally proposed is not suitable, and because the other parties and everyone is happy to have the bus stop permanently placed at its proposed location, Council supports, or well, my engineers and I suppose Council support that recommendation, or to put this out to public consultation. So that's it in a nutshell. We've got a simple bus stop that we can afford with the meagre grant money we got, designed and ready to go, and that's basically it.
Yep. Councillors, any questions? Councillor Macon?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just 2 questions. One question, is there with the grant funding, is there a time that it has to be used by for it to be finished, the stipulation, because it says 24-25 and we're going to 25-26?
Yeah, Councillor, thankfully Claire and Auburn have managed to get us a tiny extension to try to punch this out before. And again, I apologise if I'm wrong, I think it's February 26. So we've got to, I'll check up on that and confirm it next meeting, but we haven't got that much time to get this over the line and erected. Not that the erection and construction will be a big deal, but yeah, we do have a time limit to utilise this grant.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, the $20,000 is for installation, build, everything?
That's, Councillor, it's for constructing the base slab and erecting the kit structure of the bus shelter, which Council work team will do. So we can't afford the cost of getting the contractor or the supplier to do it.
Yep, beautiful.
Thank you. I think it's a good result. I think there was when they moved it to Forbes Street, it was a bit of an issue because we're going to see if we had the money there to level the area out, because it's a bit of a tilt and the buses tend to go on the side and it can be a little bit problematic getting on and off. They're hoping that the funding for the Main Street might have extended a bit further to do a bit more work in there. The other disadvantage, of course, is that the buses that
Block the mural.
yeah, block the mural, but as well the buses idling in the morning, especially when they're at 4 o'clock pick up next to the motel. At that time, the motel owners actually weren't too concerned about it. They said it doesn't seem to worry them, but it was a bit of a concern for us that we're, 4 o'clock in the morning and you've got a bus idling to keep warm in the middle of winter and keep going and sort of stuff. So this is a good result. If Transport's happy and everything like that, well, it's a good use of the space down there, and I think it's a great idea. So it'll be interesting to see what we get back from the community regarding whether we get any submissions regarding it. It's going to be very interesting.
It would be really surprising if Transport wasn't, because the temporary one's there now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it would be.
But with the community now, they've had a chance to see it down there and deal with it down there and access it down there, and anyone that's travelling with it. So, but the idea of shelter is always a great idea, because you don't want to be getting dropped off in the rain and waiting for someone standing there in the rain waiting. It's not real good. Any other questions, comments? No, thank you, councillors. Put those recommendations to the vote. All those in favour of those recommendations, please raise your hand. Anyone against? Thank you. Anyone against? So moved. Thank you, councillors, and thank you, the Director, for that report and the work on that. Next one is the RMCC contract, 12.3 we'll move on to. That the council notes the information in reports regarding the RMCC contract. We'll have a mover and a seconder. Yes, Councillor Montgomery and Councillor Macon. Thank you very much, councillors. I'll actually once again ask our acting director you've got here acting general manager, have you? No, you don't want to. Oh, you're the authoriser, so you're going to present this one.
All right, no problem. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Again, always a happy thing to report on the RMCC team and their great work that they continue to do, led by the manager. Well, again, they've got a section of work planned out for the year, and in short, they are working through their budget systematically to complete that scheduled work accordingly. You'll see improvements on the Newell Highway, Western, that they're doing, and basically, they go to a monthly meeting with Transport for New South Wales and live traffic people, and never have any dramas, presenting their information and getting positive feedback from Transport, which I've personally got myself with the work they've been doing. And that's essentially it. I won't waffle on anymore.
Wish we had that budget. That's 124 kilometres. Wish we had that budget for the rest of the road bit.
Well, yes, but it's the.
It is a highway.
Mr. Mayor, it is the main highway and the main.
I know it's wishful thinking, but it'd be nice. Yeah, but it is important. That's those figures. You can see how really it is important with the business, how much we get for those contracts. So it's terrific.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, and as I said 2 months ago or 3, driving every weekend from Weddin through many other shires. Again, it's a credit to our team, the standard of their state roads. Absolutely excellent compared to others, and that even goes into Sydney.
Yeah, very good. All right. Any questions on that report, councillors? No questions? No. Put that report to the vote, please. All those in favour of the information in the report? Aye. Accepting it. Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Thank you, director. Environmental Services report. We'll move on to the Acting General Manager's report. This is for our development applications, construction certificates and complying development applications, which were determined during the month of September 2025. I have a mover, councillors. Yes, moved by Councillor White and seconded by Councillor Montgomery. Thank you very much. I ask our Acting General Manager to present this report.
Thank you, Mayor. So yes, just a report for councillors noting in terms of the DAs and the construction certificates which were issued during the month of September. So there was 3 DAs and 2 construction certificates issued during the month.
No questions on any of those, councillors?
I suppose probably one there, probably through you, Mr Mayor, is just noting that we've been working with the Grain Corp just in relation to a temporary workers accommodation out on their site out at Caracable. So hopefully that will be underway shortly. So that's just to try and help them with workers on site. I think historically that's required workers obviously doing long hours during harvest, having to travel back into sort of Forbes or Grenfell. So trying to provide suitable accommodation for them out there on site will hopefully be a big benefit and ensure the continued operation of the silos. Yeah.
Through
Do
you,
they
Mr. Mayor.
intend, sorry, Mr Mayor,
Councillor.
do they intend that these be semi-permanent, as in for next year too?
Oh, yes, sorry, so through you, Mr Mayor. So it'll be a permanent structure
Yeah.
on site, built to all the standards. So, and then that'll be there. We call it temporary workers accommodation because it's just temporary accommodation for the season or during the period of time that they're there. So it's not intended to be a full-time rental as such. It's just for the workers on site.
Through you, Mr. How
Councillor Macon?
many residents was there?
Off the top of my head, Council, I think it's either 3 or 4. I think it's in the building. So there's 3 or 4 self-contained units, contained units with their own bathroom, and there's also an amenities building which has got a kitchen and sort of mess area. Yeah.
Probably the sewage would be the biggest concern, but they have a very big block out there.
Yeah, so it's an on-site effluent management system that'll go out there and rainwater tanks. So. Yep. I think there'll also be some showers and toilets, so that might be for other people who may not be staying on there. That'll service anyone on site as well.
Very good. Thank you very much for that. If there's no more questions, we'll put that one to the vote. All those in favour of those recommendations, councillors? Thank you. Anyone against? Thank you very much, councillors. That's it for the meeting at the moment. We'll move on to delegates' reports, of which we have none. Minutes of committee meeting, we also have none at the moment. So next we'll move into our closed council. So I'll just read that the meeting at the moment now, the meeting's going to be closed to the public under Section 10A2 of the Local Government Act, because we're going to be considering the following items because of their confidential nature. We'll be doing 16.1, which was a request for tender 09-2025 for the natural disaster stabilisation and sealing works. So we'll be this matter will be considered confidential under Section 10A2, D2 and D3 of the Local Government Act. The Council is satisfied that discussions of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with information that would, if disclosed, confer a commercial advantage on a competitor of the Council, and the information would, if disclosed, reveal a trade secret. So Council is actually going to discuss some tenders regarding the natural disaster stabilisation and sealing works and obtain a council resolution to award that particular tender. Next one, we actually have 16.2 is a mayoral minute from myself regarding the process for the general manager recruitment. This matter is considered confidential under Section 10A2A and D1 of the Local Government Act. As Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to public interest, as it deals with personal matters concerning particular individuals other than councillors and commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the people who supplied it. So basically, once again, the Council is providing an update on the recruitment process for our General Manager's position and to obtain a Council resolution to determine a range for the total remuneration package for the General Manager's position. That's why we'll be discussing. Thank you. So I have a move and a second that we move now into closed council. Yes, Councillor Macon and Councillor Parlett. Thank you very much. All those in favour that we move into closed council? Aye. Thank you. All those against? Thank you, councillors. Thank you. Very good. Thank you very much. Welcome back, everybody, from our closed council session, in which we discussed a couple of tenders and some details regarding the general manager recruitment. The resolutions out of that closed council meeting were that Resolution 22125 was moved by Councillor Montgomery and seconded by Deputy Mayor Councillor Gorman, that the council, one, notes the evaluation information contained in the report regarding a request for tender 9-2025, the natural disaster P5 stabilisation and sealing works. 2, council endorses the tender request for tender 9-2025 natural disaster P5 stabilisation and sealing works to be awarded to Stable Corp Pty Ltd for the tendered price as set out in the report. And 3, it delegates the acting general manager to enter into and execute the contract with Stable Corp Pty Ltd for the supply of stabilisation and sealing works for our natural disaster package P5, and that motion was carried unanimously. Then it was we moved on to a mayoral minute from myself, which was Resolution 22525, that council note the information contained in the report, noted the update on the general manager recruitment process. We council then 3 determined the range for the remuneration package for the general manager as outlined in our report, inclusive of non-cash benefits. And 4, it delegates the mayor to negotiate the total remuneration package with the successful candidates following our final interviews before council. And that motion was also carried unanimously. Thank you very much. So now I'll declare the meeting closed at the time. Just one comment I'll make is that today I think the Year 12 students are all starting their HSCs and everywhere within the Shire, and we all wish them all the best and wish them that they do well in it and they can achieve the results they're asking. So I think that's something to know. It's really good. It's an end of their high school careers and the future awaits them. So we wish them all the best. I have a move and a seconder now to close the meeting. Councillor Rolls moved by and seconded by Councillor Montgomery. All those in favour of closing the meeting? Those against, thank you councillors and thank you staff. Thank you to everybody.